Hello everybody, my name is Mr. T Gaming DBD, and I'm joined by the one and only, the King from Dead by Daylight.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm alright, it's a bit late for me. The King
Yeah.
is from America, I think
Yeah.
I've got that right, and then I'm from the UK, so the time zones can be a bit funny. A little bit about me, so my channel's recently kind of popped off a little bit, you could say. I never thought it'd happen, but it's mainly based on the chase music in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
It's to do with, I basically go into the files, grab the chase music, upload it for people to see. I've also made a few fan-made chase musics. My most successful one, which
really
was
good stuff.
Springtrap, and I have so many people asking for that in the game, but we're going to get to a question about that later. I have a few questions about yourself first and your channel. So what kind of made you get into YouTube in the first place? Like, was there anything that motivated you at all? Any channels you watched that you made you want to do YouTube? Anything like that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I started off watching, like, I think the first, like, few YouTubers that I watched were kind of like Ali and Syndicate playing a lot of Call of Duty back in the days. And then that evolved into like the Vanoss crew playing COD. But the real origin story of why I started YouTube, I was back in like, I think I would say like 4th grade, which I guess I was like 10 years old, I believe. And all my friends and I were like, why don't we do like a fun project? We all make a YouTube account and just kind of see who gets the most views on their videos. And they ended up doing like lyric videos for like Green Day and stuff like that. So they legitimately got millions of views, no joke. And I would go online and I would just look for memes, put the memes and just put like a stupid song and just try and hope for it. But no, over me doing that for a while, I kind of fell in love with it. It was really, really awesome. And I just kind of started doing Minecraft videos. I remember being like ultra shy. I couldn't record if anybody was like even in the room or in the house with me. Yeah, man. I couldn't do it. I was just so nervous. And I just made Minecraft videos, really shitty ones. And then eventually that moved into COD. I saw an ad for something called a Roxio game capture, plugged it into my PS3 at the time, started recording like some silly videos. Before even I had that, I used to record with my phone. I used to have a crayon box. And I had a fork and I used to use that as a tripod and record from my TV. Yeah, man. And then that evolved into me getting an Elgato. I remember begging my aunt, because she always used to buy me things to buy me it for, I think it was like my birthday or something, I don't remember. And yeah, that evolved into me just watching like Ali videos and Syndicate videos, as I said, and then Vanoss videos, and then trying to like imitate their style. We were big fans of them. And going from there, and eventually that took me to DBD. I made a second channel, posted my first one, which was just a tutorial. I got into DBD because of watching a Vanoss video. Ironically, it was a gift, the game actually, and the first video popped off, and I was like, you know what, this got way more views than anything I've ever posted in Call of Duty, so let's just roll with it. And here we are all the years later, almost 9 years later.
Dead by Daylight is such a good place to build a community, I find.
It really is.
Every streamer community or YouTuber community is absolutely lovely. There's hardly any bad eggs. I don't know, they're just really nice in this community compared to other games.
It is very wholesome. I think it started when like the devs, they had like their live streams like really early on, and everything was like really tight knit, so everybody really was like a community. I think now over the past couple of years, now that it's really kind of exploded, like one or a few times you'll get like some crazy takes on Twitter and, you know, people jab at each other, but that's always been the case with like killer versus survivor, right? But overall, you're right. It is comparative to other games that you play. Like I said, I come from COD and stuff like that. It is so much better and inclusive, which is really awesome.
Okay, so if we can move on to some Dead by Daylight questions. Now, these are ones that I'm really interested to ask. The first few are about kind of like the music in the game. It kind of relates to my channel then. And it's also something I'm really interested to see. I always comment on streamers and YouTubers' videos to say, ask about all the audio in the game, all the music, and I just find it really interesting. So my first question for you, and you might take a few seconds to think about it, what would you say is your favorite chase theme? So just chase, nothing else.
Chase theme. Ooh, that's a good one. Chase theme. Yeah, you're right. This will take me a second to think about. Honestly, like, it'll be a little bit of a toss-up. I know this is such a cop-out answer, but the classic chase music, I feel like, is just super iconic.
Yes.
Mainly because I just love hearing it. You don't hear it too often anymore because nobody plays a lot of the characters, like the OG ones, so it's nice to hear.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I feel like Hag has a decent one as well. I don't mind the Hag's chase music personally.
Yeah.
I do like Oni as well. Ghostface is me. I think there was a time where I kind of liked it. I guess I would have to say Legion, right? Like Legion seems to be the best answer. Yeah, especially since you could like change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Legion's up there. I recently do like the Alien as well.
The Alien
I had to pick one.
It's hard.
It might have to go to Legion. It is hard. Chucky's a good one too. There's a lot of good ones. They've gotten really good with it. They really have. Legion. I'd have to say Legion.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. As someone that watches loads and loads, it's played in my mind a lot, and I've kind of come to the conclusion. As much as I don't like the killer, I really love the chase theme of the twins, and any time I get chased by Charlotte. Yeah, the fast drums just scares me. Yeah. And it's really difficult to be in a chase to because I'm so stressed out by the music. Yeah. And that's what happens when you pay attention to the audio so much.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Would you say Legion as well for the overall theme? So you have the far approaching, close.
Yeah.
Because for me,
might be if I had to do like. If I had to change it up, it might be Huntress, like the humming and then it changes
and then
for like overall theme. It might be Hunt. Yeah. It might be that.
That's a good answer. What about menu theme? I don't know if you listen to them much.
Oh yeah, menu theme. You know what? Recently, the FNAF shirts came into the game. And that has a really cool theme if you put the FNAF shirts on. I've like yeah. So for the survivors, you put them on and it has like just this kind of like music box X-esque kind of theme, and it is really nice. I do like it. There's a couple others. I think it definitely will be more on the survivor side for anything. Like honorable mentions, I guess, would be like the Iron Maiden collection for killers. Like, that's super cool, right? But on the survivor side, I think that I forgot which one it was. It might be like the one that looks like Robin Hood for Meg. You also have the Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Those are pretty good. Yeah, there is a lot. I think there was one of them that I always use that I always just kind of listen to, and I forget that I'm even listening to a different theme.
Yeah.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I really like the new FNAF one. Like I was literally listening to it, just like chilling in the lobby, like relaxing when I was doing some early play testing, and I was just like, this is really good.
I'd say I like the Attack on Titan killer
Attack on Titan's good.
It's got a lot of good electric guitars in it, and it's like that there's quite a lot to it as well. It doesn't just end after like a 10-second loop. It keeps going on and on, and that's why I really like that one.
One's a good one.
It's my choice. Springtrap has just come out, so there's been a lot of mixed debate, and once again this is music. There's been a lot of mixed debate on the Terror Radius and Chase. I've seen a lot of comments on this. What are your thoughts? Does it meet expectations, or did you expect, I don't know, I guess a little bit more horror, or is it perfect?
Right. Before I even like jump on into it, I feel like the expectations with FNAF in general and every single aspect was held to a super insanely high standard.
Definitely.
Like, and I don't think no matter what DVD ended up doing in any aspect, everybody would have been satisfied with it. That sounds like a very PR answer. I'm sounding like I'm DVD themselves,
that's perfectly fine.
But it's like, even with like the power, for example, like when I was speculating on what the power could be, like we were talking about getting phantoms, or like the night progressively changing, and like every gen that pops, the time changes, like crazy big elaborate ideas. Even when it comes down to like the power, I know people have been disappointing saying it's similar to Dredge or Huntress, and now like with the chase music as well. So I think every aspect of it, no matter what, people won't be satisfied.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mind it personally. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. Think it fits the character quite well.
Yeah.
I haven't played much of the FNAF games,
Yeah.
in all honesty. So if there's something that pays better homage to him, I wouldn't really know too much,
Yeah.
but I can understand why people would feel that way and then be like, it's not really that ominous. My only grievance, I would say, this is a little bit going away from the point, is I wish we did have the mask for the Yellow Rabbit, and I know they mentioned at PAX East that they might look into doing something like that.
Yeah.
To me, the Mori just looks a little silly with him screaming in your face, Matthew Lillard.
It
but
does.
that's my own personal grievance. Yeah. And that's what I mean, though. Everybody is going to have some sort of grievance with the chapter overall.
Yeah.
Back to the question, though, with the chase music, for me, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think they did decent. You would know better than me. How do you feel about the chase music? Do you not like it? You seem like you don't like it.
I prefer mine. I'm biased.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yours was pretty top tier.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel there wasn't enough intensity. But as you said, expectations were very, very high. So
yeah.
I don't think whatever they released, people would be 100% happy with, to be honest. But that's a good take on it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. All your killer games now, the only thing you're going to concentrate on is all the chase music now.
Yeah, literally. That's all I'm going to be like, wait a minute, let me listen real quick.
Yeah. Another question for you, and this might be a really quick one, but do you ever think, similar to how we have fan-made skins in the game, they've done some competitions to have, I think it was the Singularity that got that TV skin, which was created by a fan.
Yes.
Do you think they will ever have fan-made chase music in the game, or is it a bit of a long shot?
I feel like it might be a bit of a long shot because it's a little bit more niche. I feel like when it comes down to just like drawing something and coming up with art in general, it's like much more to the masses. However, with their create your own chapter, that definitely could be something that they explore. I have no idea. I don't know anything about what they're going to do there. I'd assume they would have some pre-made things, but I think that's a great avenue for them to start at. And I think it's definitely something they could explore in the future where like if this does really good and is super successful, that maybe they extend it a little bit more. When it comes down to music though, I feel like it could be a little bit more tricky, because if there's certain tweaks and changes that they need to make, especially when it comes down to music, like you will notice that difference. Like for the skins, even like when they're incorporated into the game, there's a lot of like rules and things that they need to follow. There's a lot of things that they just cannot do. And then when the skin comes out, it doesn't really look too much like the original one with the concept art. And then people get upset about it. But there's a lot of different things that goes on internally that they're just not able to do. I think the same thing might be the case when it comes down to music. And then if they do have to change something, it's much more significant when you're listening to something and you're like, oh yeah, I can definitely hear the change between, the original and what they've come up with. So I think for that reason, and it being a little bit more niche, it might be a long shot, but I think that they definitely are doing so much more things with the community and been listening a lot more. And it could be something down the line that we could say. I don't know personally. I don't know any of the info, but I would hope that they do something like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. I love when they do things with the community and the community is just kind of able to do whatever. They have the banners now and the charms and the cosmetics. So, I mean, music seems appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer. That was a more detailed answer than I was expecting. I was just expecting a yes or no, but that will do.
No, yeah.
Do you listen to any fan-made music yourself, or not really?
So when I used to make fan-made chapters, like way back when, I used to do it a lot. I used to go through and listen to a ton of different fan-made music. I know even like Dead by Daylight kind of like retweeted one. It was like, I think the artwork was like a spirit. It was like one of their artworks, and I think that one kind of really got a lot of attention too. So back in the days when I used to like made my fan-made creations, I would encourage people to do it as well for just like whatever killer they're working on, or if I was doing a licensed one, like what kind of theme they would do. Now, not so much. It's a lot different now. Everything is just kind of like go different projects working here and there, so I don't really get a lot of leisure time, if that makes sense, especially when it's with DBD now playing it for so long. Unless it's like brought to my doorstep and someone's like, you gotta check this out, it's not something that I'm able to really do.
One last question regarding the music. Do you think that, so there's killers currently that have the default chase theme, such as Freddy, Pig, Plague, who all have really good chase music potential. Do you think that they're ever going to update those? Because they did it a few times with Spirit, Hillbilly. Do you think maybe we might have a few patches to have those done?
So for the licensed one, I think no. I think we won't see any chase music for the licensed ones, because if they were going to do it, it would have been incorporated already. Because like for Myers, for example, does he have his own chase music?
He does, yeah.
I know he has like ambience and stuff, but like the other ones, like Freddy doesn't. And I think that's just licensing. That's what it kind of boils down to, which is weird. I don't know how the world of licensings work, because for example, they have a really good relationship when it comes down to like doing stuff with the Pig and Saw, right?
Yeah.
But then, no chase music there. So I think it's a little bit more complex to the license one. For the original ones, I think it's kind of like the same kind of answer what they've been saying, whether they would go back and change old Moris, or whether they would go back and change like the way a character looks, or even like the sound of how loud a character is. If they do it for one, they have to do it for all. And with all the different things that they're working on, especially with quality of life coming out now, I feel like it's on the list, but it's super low priority. And because of that, like we end up waiting for years. And I think the way they've been doing it, which I think, yes, they will do more, is if a killer gets reworked. So like you mentioned, Spirit and Hillbilly, those two characters were reworked. So I think if they do end up doing a big rework, like for example, Skull Merchant already has her own chase music, but I think Skull Merchant's next in the pipeline. They could look at something like, let's say she had default music. They'll be like, okay, we're reworking Skull Merchant. We're going to spend the next 3 months on her. Let's give her some chase music. So if they were rework like Trapper, for example, they'd be like, okay, like, we could change up Trapper. Maybe not Trapper, because, he's like the original boy, but someone else along the line, they could look into it and kind of amp it up and spruce it up a little bit. But for the big licenses like Leatherface, for example, or Freddy, I don't think we will see any for those.
I agree. I think that is more of a licensing problem, but we will never know.
Which is a shame. It is a shame.
Yeah, it would be cool to see like Leatherface have a similar one to Hillbilly, or Freddy to have his own one.
That'd be so cool.
I personally also do think it's down to licensing for whatever reason. But we can only hope and pray that eventually one day it happens. So now moving on to some gameplay questions. So these will be some nice quick questions to answer. So we're moving away from chase music now.
Right.
So who would you say at the moment is your favorite killer to play?
Favorite killer, it is always been and always probably will be Trapper. It's just so satisfying just catching somebody off guard in that trap. Second place, I'd give it to Wesker. I always go to Wesker because it's just so satisfying grabbing someone and tossing them around. It is really, really nice. Those two have been like the top two that I play. Recently, Stats came out. I'm surprised Wesker wasn't number 2. It was Trapper number 1 and ironically Huntress number 2 and then Nurse. But I was like, okay. But Huntress is up there too. But I have to give it to Trapper. Trapper's definitely my favorite.
That's fair enough. The strongest killer, in your opinion? Who do you reckon?
Strongest killer, it always has to be Nurse. Like there's just no beating Nurse. You can't beat a good Nurse. Like you can do some cool things with Kaneki, you can do some cool things with Blight, but it's like the amount of skill that you need to have to play those killers, which it can be done. Like I do it too. Like you play Kaneki, you play Blight, you end up getting that 4K, but Nurse is just so effortless. Like I feel back in the days, people thought like you really need a lot of skill to play Nurse. It's not necessarily the case anymore, comparative to other killers and what you need to do on them, like with like flicking or sliding with the Blight, or like Kaneki when you like jump and then turn last second and go the other way and slide. Like Nurse is just, you predict where they're gonna go and there's literally nothing they can do about it. So it will always be Nurse in my books until they end up fully changing her. What
makes you keep coming back to Dead by Daylight? Is there... Because it seems, everyone asks me this question, and it seems like it's, they always say, oh, it's really repetitive. But it's not, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it is as repetitive as people make it out to be. Like every game is unique, especially with like the RNG factors. Like you don't know what you're necessarily going to get in every single game. I get the sentiment though of like you're doing the same thing over and over and over. Like if you're playing Survivor, you're working on gens for so long. And for me, it's like if I ever get bored of DBD, I end up just playing the other side because I feel like it's a completely different experience. And when I play Killer, for example, it's like there's so many different aspects now with 40
Yeah.
different killers in the game now. So it's like there's always something new that you can kind of go to. The reason why I come back to DBD is there's just no game that has captured my attention for this long ever. Like I told you, I played COD, I played Minecraft, and to me those get repetitive. It's like the same thing every single time, same maps, same things. Minecraft a little bit different with RNG, but it's the same concept of what you're gonna do. You eventually just get kind of burnt out. DBD is one of those games, and like when I was a kid, I would like play a game, get tired of it, go to bed, and then in the morning I would wake up and be like, damn, I really want to play that game again. DBD is kind of one of those games where it's like I play a few hours of it, whether it's on stream or I'm making content. I go to bed, I wake up, and I'm like, you know what? I can actually go for a few rounds of DBD. Playing it for like 9 years now, it's not something that I can do as I did before, where I used to play for like 6-7 hours a day, but it's just one of those games where it's like, yeah, I could go for a couple matches of DBD. There's just something unique about it. And I think it really shows how unique it is with them breaking like records literally yesterday on Steam charts, with them, you know, having absolutely zero competition. It's something that they've captured lightning in a bottle, and it just can't be replicated. And I think there's only a few games that have managed to do something like that, and that's why I keep coming back to it, and so many others keep coming back to it. Of course, you have your personal grievances with the game, and you can be pissed and frustrated, and you might not want to play for a while, but I feel like even if you drop DBD, you will come back to it at some point in time. It's just one of those kind of games.
There's just something about it that hooks me in as well, and I keep thinking there's going to be another game around the corner to take my attention away from it.
Right.
It's still not happened for 3 years, and it's crazy.
It never is, right? Yeah.
And I think the regular updates also help as well. Like, we have a set schedule, and we can expect new content at specific, like every 3 months.
I think that definitely helps it. DBD moves fast, man. Like, you look at other games, like I play Apex, for example, and like you don't get a new character for, it's like every half a year you get a new character, you know? DBD, it's like by the time you play PTP, the chapter's already out. By the time the chapter's out, you have a limited time game mode. By the time the limited time game mode is done, you have an event. Like, there's always something that's going on, a mid-chapter patch, something. So it's like you're always getting something going. And like this year, they're slowing down a little bit to do the quality of life stuff, but it's still like we're eating good, man. We got so much things that's going on, and you're right about that. Other games don't, like, even if they have their roadmap, it's not as like on time as DBD. They move fast, and I think that's what really helps them as well, keeping that momentum.
Do you also have a favorite survivor of some sort, or not really?
Yeah, it's Meg. I only play pretty much Meg. No matter what anybody says about Meg, I've played her from day one, and I continue to play her. I did, like, back in the days when people used to stream snipe a lot, I had a couple aliases as my name, and I said if those characters ever came into the game, I would main them. This was back in like 2016, and those names, the first one was Lara Croft. She came in the game, but I never mained her. And then I think like later on, like 2021, 2022, it was Nancy Wheeler. She came in the game and I never played her. And then eventually there was one more I had. Which one was it? Nancy Wheeler, Lara Croft. I think that's about it. The only other character I really wanted was Siri in the game, and now she's in the game, which is crazy. I never seen that one coming, but still not a character that I ended up swapping to. So I don't think I'll ever swap, because those were the characters I wanted the most, got him, and still never swapped. So I think I'll be stuck here forever.
We're getting down to the last few questions now. So this is all to do with the future of Dead by Daylight. Do you have some sort of dream license still out there somewhere?
Yeah, they have done an insane amount. I always kind of say Jason. Personally, like, I don't care about Jason. I didn't really watch a lot of classic slasher films. It's not something that I grew up watching. I watch all the paranormal stuff. So paranormal things I would love. And there's a couple of things that I would like. I think that one of the rumors that I kind of started that to this day is still going on was talking about The Nun coming into DBD and Ed and Lorraine, and like now it's everywhere. I remember watching Conjuring, loved it, and then I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I clued in some of the clues that DBD was giving and saying like, it's the nun. The nun's going to be the next chapter. And I remember that video blew up. It got like 100K. And I had devs reach out to me and were like, how on earth did you even like come up with this? And since that point to now, people still talk about the nun coming into the game. And I think it has to be on their radar now. So the nun and Ed and Lorraine are definitely up there for me. Recently, like, I guess more new school would be something like Megan. I think that would be just funny now that we have Chucky as well. I think it could kind of work in the game. And now that we have Witcher, I feel like it opens the door for Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. I would love to see like Jon Snow running around, you know, or Daenerys, whatever the case may be. It would be super duper cool to have something like that. I think those like 3 would be my top. And then Jason's my default answer that I tell people. I think it'll just complete the Hall of Fame for killers for the devs. And then at that point, they've pretty much gotten everybody. And then they could just look up elsewhere, essentially.
Yeah, exactly that. Personally, my favorite, and if rumors and if the teasers from PAX was correct, The Walking Dead, it's a bit of a boring answer that I've watched that show about 6 times. I have Rick Grimes on my wall, box sets, a Daryl Dixon figurine, the official Negan baseball bat replica. I have it all.
Nice.
And I've been saying to my friend that also plays Dead by Daylight, my one dream would be even just for survivors, and to have Rick Grimes, Daryl Michonne, Negan maybe, anything like that. And with all the... I can't even explain how I burst into excitement when I saw, you know, all the letters grayed out. So I've got my fingers crossed. I'm 99% sure it's happening. And I absolutely cannot wait for my new Survivor main to come in.
I never watch Walking Dead. Everyone always tells me to do it, so I think I might have to. You might be right. It's looking very likely that that's gonna happen. I don't see why else they would tease something like that. But that's all I can really say on it.
It's an emotional joyride, so just prepare yourself. You will cry.
I'm ready.
We have some upcoming licenses coming out. I can't actually remember what months are what for licensing killers, so you might have to remind me. But I know there is is it a killer only one coming out? I can't remember for the life of me.
Let me think. So I think we got next we have 2 survivors coming out, which seems to be Walking Dead. We have, I think it's an original. They said that was going to be based on Asian folklore, and I think there's a survivor with that one. Then we have a licensed killer with 2 survivors. And then we have, I think it just said new survivor, new realm. I think that's all there was. There might be a standalone killer, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
So that licensed 2 survivor, 1 killer, who do you reckon? Is there anyone on your mind it could be?
It's a great question. I was so engulfed with all of the FNAF things that everyone was like kind of talking about it after PAX, but like all of it was just me thinking about FNAF. So I haven't really had like a sit down time to think about it. I've seen a lot of speculation online about what it could be, and I think that the couple of leaders that we've seen emerge is like another Resident Evil chapter, which could make sense. You know, Lady D maybe coming into the fog and getting some of the other cast of Resident Evil. Some of the biggest chapters they've ever done. So I could definitely see them doing something like that again. I did see a lot of theories about Stranger Things as well. I think that's the same time that the new season is going to be coming out, and you know there is a lack of Stranger Things stuff, so I don't know how likely that will be. I don't know like how that whole deal with Netflix kind of went down, but I think it's right around Stranger Things Day, if I'm not mistaken, and the new season's gonna come out, so that's definitely up there. And then I just seen like the classics of, well, not necessarily classics, but Predator was one that I seen a lot because we kind of speculated after we got the alien skin, I believe, that Predator might come into the game. So that's definitely something I could see happening as well. As for the 2 survivors, I don't really know who they would bring with that. But I think those are definitely the top 3. In full honesty, I think it could be something that deals with a game. Like it makes sense. Like 2 survivors is a bit hefty,
Yeah.
and I don't really know what they could do with 2 survivors. I mean, we've seen them do it with Stranger Things. We've seen them do it with Resident Evil, so I think it might be a game, but I have no clue. I'll be honest with you.
That's perfectly
I've
fine.
kind of with all of the leaks, unfortunately, I kind of retired from speculation a little bit, where everything just kind of gets spoiled, or DBD announced it's quite early, which I think it's better than it being spoiled. So I haven't really paid too close attention to it. But yeah, those would be my answers, I'd say.
Okay, and what about game modes? Do you have any you could think of you would like to be added? Is there anything you could suggest they add?
I would 100% want prop hunt.
Yeah.
I feel like prop hunt would just be so cool in the game, and I don't think there's anything on the roadmap that says new game mode coming out, which is very disappointing to me. But I would love to see prop hunt. I know there was a list at some point in time, and I think prop hunt was on that list. I just think it would be so cool just running around. It'll just add another goofy element to DBD that I think people would absolutely like enjoy so much, even if it was just like a week long of it. I think it'd be so cool.
Do you think that for everything he's done for the community, and he's such a big creator, very popular in the Dead by Daylight community, Otzdarva, will he ever become a survivor? What do you think?
I mean, anything is possible in DVD. That's what I always say. I could ask him. I don't know. I feel like it'd be funny if they did something like that, but no. I don't think they'll be doing too much more when it comes down to like creators. I think they've done like at a point they had like the shirts that came into the game, which I think would be the most that we would get out of everything. But I don't know, as far as getting a content creator as a survivor, it'd be funny though. It would be really funny. But
yeah, I would love it personally. You know, we've been getting a lot of like badges, banners, free stuff in the like temporary rifts. Do you think that a supply drop system of some way would benefit the game or not? A bit like, as a Call of Duty fan yourself, a bit like Advanced Warfare, something like that.
Me personally, I would love something like that. Like, I open Apex crates all the time, right? But I get the understanding of people being against loot crates and things like that, and spending a fuck ton of money trying to get something and never getting it. Even if you're like super transparent, like I know Apex has really strived to do that, where it's like, okay, like there's only a 2% chance you're gonna get a legendary, and they like spell it out to you and being like, listen, you're not meant to do good in this. I think DBD will get too much pushback if they do something like that. I think a long time ago in the game files, they kind of like data mined that something like that was gonna happen, and that like blew up and people were losing their minds. So personally, I'd like it. I'd be happy with it. I have no problem with like FOMO based things or loot boxes in games. Like, I think that's just the industry standard, and I mean, I buy them, so I can't complain. But I think for the bulk of the community, they would be pretty pissed off, and I think it would be a PR disaster for the game. And I think people would just be super duper mad at it. Now, if they weather the storm and they continue to do things, it could be good, but I think it's just something that it would just make them look really greedy. And I know that's something that they do care about, because even like the gifting option, for example, where you could gift someone a skin, you know, they said in my interviews that they were hesitant in even incorporating a feature like that, because they figured that it would be looked at as a monetary kind of thing, not as a social kind of thing. So they were hesitant at even doing a gifting option. So I think getting like loot traps is essentially nowhere near like their pipeline of something they would bring into the game.
Yeah, I think it. I'm 50-50 about it. I think it could work if they made it so you can only buy these loot crates with some form of in-game currency, and you can't actually purchase them. But I know that they won't do that, because you've got to make money somehow. So I just have a feeling it won't ever come to the game. But it's something that I think would be cool if it was done right.
It would be.
Last question. So are there any further game improvements you can think of for Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, I have been pestering them for as long as I can remember for a crafting mode. That's been on my list as number one, where it's like, if I got a million brown toolboxes that I don't use, break them down, grab a new currency, craft a flashlight.
Yeah.
That's it. You can have regulations, you can have stipulations on how to make this fair. Maybe you craft only one item a day. Maybe You only could craft a certain rarity a certain amount of times. That's something that I think would be super beneficial. Besides that, I think there's a lot of other like just generic quality of life things that they could do, especially for the new players. That's like my main concern now. I feel like as OGs, we're just kind of used to everything, so it's like whatever. Like we're not going to be satisfied one way or the other, and it's the new school players, the new gen players that you really need to adhere to. And I think like something like the grind, they've gotten better at making it, less fatiguing. But if there was shared offerings for everybody, that would be a cool thing, or shared items for everybody, that would be a cool thing. Things like that. Those small quality of life improvements, I think, would be my only big things that I would tell DBD to do. Gifting option as well would be absolutely fantastic. I have over 200,000 auric cells, so I'd love to give things away to people. And yeah, there's just random bits and pieces of quality of life things that I think they could do. I always said that if they incorporate just one major quality of life change in every single patch that they do, before they know it, the game would look absolutely amazing. Whether it's simple as just fixing shadows in the game, which I don't think is that simple, but a quality of life improvement like that, then people play the game and they're like, oh, that's actually really good. That's pretty nice. Whether it's Prestige 100 rewards that you get, that's another big improvement that they can make, that people would feel like, yeah, this is definitely worth it. So there's definitely a lot on my list that I think they could continue to improve on, but I gotta say, over the years they've done a really, really good job at adhering to the community's needs.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, a crafting system would be absolutely amazing, because if you P100 some sort of killer, you're stuck with those brown add-ons forever, and it's messy, it's horrible. I've got to say, one of the best improvements they've made for me personally was the being able to bulk spend blood points. I thought,
oh yeah, it's so good.
I was waiting at 5 million for about the past 2 weeks, because I could not be asked to just manually do it when I know soon I can just do it in bulk. So I probably wasted a lot of blood points in doing that, but I couldn't be asked to do it. It was so slow, and I'm really glad they've now added that. Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, so that's pretty much all my questions. So thank you very much for getting involved, and
of course,
taking some time out of your day.
This was fun. Thank you for having me.
It's perfectly fine, no worries.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So yeah, that was my interview with the King. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, check out my chase music, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.
Okay.